Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to URBONUS podcast. This is the special Q&A episode. Thank you all for all your questions. You sent us through our social media platforms, YouTube, BasketNews.com channel community, our Twitter. We didn't have Instagram questionnaire, I think. But anyway, thank you all for all your questions. And I'm glad to have you here, gentlemen. Augustas Šuliauskas, Rytis Vyšniauskas. Good morning. It's pretty early today.
Yeah, for me it's too early, but you have to take some sacrifices probably in this business.
Yep, especially
podcasts.
For our BN Plus members. Feel happy to join our BN Plus community for extra content, including this pod, but also for Rytis betting tips. He's having a good track record so far with his tips, right?
Well, so far I guess, but EuroLeague is so unpredictable. It's getting harder and harder to predict stuff because in the beginning you could see some advantages. Maybe bookies were sleeping on some teams, but now we're going to have 7th game week already. So it's hard to outplay the bookies, but I'm trying my best. I'm trying to pick the best I can. And as I said previously, those tips are not necessarily for betting, you need to put your money on my word. But maybe it might help you with some fantasy advice because a lot of people play EuroLeague fantasy, me included. I love EuroLeague fantasy. I love competing. So, yeah.
Yeah, so Rytis is giving good advices on BN Plus platform, and Augustas is doing video breakdowns. Not just video breakdowns, also kind of article breakdowns.
And today, a breakdown about Anadolu Efes should be out. And just, is it a championship hangover 3.0? Or, we should start to worry. The headline is something like that.
Every year is the same. Every October, every November, everybody starts to worry about Efes, and they just end up winning the trophy in May.
2 years ago, I think they were 3-3 after 6 games. Last year, they were 2-4, or even 1-5. And this year, they are 2-4. So, there's a pattern here. I want to see if they're gonna repeat the same season ending.
Come on now, they don't have Shane Larkin yet, but probably we'll discuss all these things.
Yeah, sure.
Because we have a question from Anadolu Efes. Sorry, from Efes Hater, because we got corrected by Turkish fans that we shouldn't mention Anadolu. Just Efes.
It's not like we shouldn't mention Anadolu. We shouldn't call them Anadolu.
Yeah.
Or either full name or...
We either call them Anadolu Efes or we just call them Efes because the historical name is Efes.
Yeah. Or we should just go like Kazoo, Baskonia, Vitoria, Gasteiz. Anyway, thank you all for all our questions. This episode, the entire episode will be only for BN Plus community members. Once again, basketnews.com/plus. There are 3 different subscription levels. Thank you all for who are already in this Basket News Plus community. And just some short clips of our answers, way shorter edition of the episode will be provided also for all the fans right here. And just a quick reminder, we do 3 full weekly episodes, and this Q&A session is every 2 weeks for BN Plus community. So who is the best option for Real Madrid bench? Trinkieri, Djordjevic, or someone else? Just to be quick, Djordjevic is likely heading to China national team, which is surprising. So basically only Trinkieri could be available from this question. We cannot forget that there's Yannis Sferopoulos as well. Pablo Laso is a free agent, but there is no way he's coming back because the GM, the sports director of Real Madrid, tried to fire him for 11 years. So yeah, what do you think about the best option for Madrid?
I think we've had a similar discussion already, but if I have to pick between Trinkieri and Djordjevic, there's no way I'm going with Djordjevic. He just doesn't really have a track record in the EuroLeague. And Real Madrid, usually they're looking for something in the long term. And Trinkieri could build something interesting. Obviously, if he steps in right now, he already has a full roster, but he might do some sort of a rebuild next summer. And at the same time, he has enough quality in this team to win the EuroLeague or at least go to the Final Four. So from the tactical standpoint, I think Real Madrid would become a much more interesting team if Trinchieri joins them. At the same time, it will be interesting to see how he'll change the culture. I'm not sure if Trinchieri will keep the same system with the rotations and players, some of them playing 20 minutes in the EuroLeague, others playing 20 in the ACB League. Some players might suffer from the coaches' change, but Trinchieri is probably the best or top 3 tactician in the league, I guess.
If Real Madrid would be desperate about winning ACB, they should go after Djordjevic, because Djordjevic won the Italian league, Djordjevic won the Turkish league. Okay, he kind of failed in the EuroLeague or the EuroCup when he was coaching Virtus. But yeah, I mean, if that's the question, I'm also going after Trinchieri. I mean, I don't even know if we have to go further. Why? Actually, Trinchieri was getting some attention from big teams starting from the last season. So it's kind of big time.
Would he leave Bayern Munich project in the middle of the season? Do you see that happening?
I can only see that happening if Real Madrid will through like few million euros. I mean, just big money that you cannot reject from coach's standpoint and from the club standpoint. Because Bayern Munich is not Real Madrid, not Barcelona, not a club that can just let away from that kind of situation where they can earn so much money. Although if I was the owner of Bayern, I wouldn't let him go. Okay, I think that Trinchieri is on expiring contract, so maybe business-wise, that's a smart decision, because maybe then you can go after Pablo Laso or Yannis Fouropoulos. They're also a good coach, so you can kind of, get some money from that transfer. And of course, for example, if Trinchieri gets a huge offer from Real Madrid, and he says to his GM, I want to go there. It would be hard, to continue working together.
It's always difficult to keep someone against their will. But.
Yeah, and that especially when it's a huge chance for the coach, and you kind of stopping him from this kind of life opportunity. That would be the biggest challenge for Trinchieri.
And Real Madrid, it's tough. And Real Madrid would be, a lifetime opportunity for Trinchieri as well. But how much truth is there about Chus Mateo? About these rumors?
A lot.
Yeah,
I would say he's on a hot seat. It doesn't mean that he's about to get fired like in the upcoming weeks, but there's a lot of, let's say, uncertainty and lack of confidence of his position in Madrid, which is awful.
From the players or from the
management?
I can't really say it. I'm not sure about that, but I mean, there's that kind of feeling around the team. So.
Well,
but which is awful. I mean, because you let your best coach go in summer, you hire his assistant coach, and you're thinking about coaching change 2 months into the season. It's just awful. It just proves that you made a huge mistake.
If you do that, you basically admit that you've made a mistake. But Pablo Laso is probably not coming back. He's not going to do a Zinedine Zidane in this case. But they had a good win in Milan. And then on the weekend they lose to Zaragoza. That was
they started the season
in the bottom
0
of the
and
ACB
6.
standings. Of course, they fired Martin Schiller, hired Porfi Fisak. Maybe that was the effect of the new coach. But Real Madrid usually doesn't tolerate these regular season wins against weaker ACB clubs. And right now they're 5-2 in the standings. It's not a big deal if you look at it, but. They've lost to Baskonia, now they're losing to Zaragoza. There's no stability so far. Like in EuroLeague, one night they perform pretty good, but the other night they look like a team that doesn't really have a clue what they're doing. Like in the El Clasico, for example, they were just outplayed in so many areas of the game. Okay, they had a good win against Milan. They had a pretty decent game against Olympiacos. They just couldn't close it. I would stick to Chus Mateo. I would give him more time, but if the management thinks that it's time for a change right now in November, then probably we'll see some news in the upcoming weeks.
If the management sees that there is no confidence from the players, it's really hard to regain that back. If you don't establish confidence and trust, and from the very first days of the training camp or from the very first games, it's really hard later to win it back. So if the management sees this as a dead end kind of that situation,
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. 2, 3, 4 games if they keep winning one game, then losing another, and performing really.
That's not Real Madrid way. They're usually the team that dominates both regular seasons, EuroLeague and ACB.
They're not Anadolu Efes to lose.
Nope.
To be two completely different teams at the start of the season and then later.
So since we mentioned Pablo Laso, Apostolis Yannikis has a question. What's your opinion about Pablo Laso coaching Panathinaikos?
I've expressed my opinion, I believe, 2 weeks ago. I said that I would see Pablo Laso being a long-term project for a EuroLeague club, and Panathinaikos doesn't seem like an organization that has any long-term strategy at the moment. If I was Pablo Laso, I wouldn't go there. And
I don't imagine him there.
I mean, what can you achieve right now with Panathinaikos?
The last head coach, I mean, Xavi Pascal had the longest tenure in Panathinaikos. He worked from 2016 to 18, and basically that's it. Nobody survived longer than 2 years.
The longest tenure is 2-3 years.
Basically, yeah.
And those were the times when they had a bigger budget and they had better players.
That's true.
Because Xavi Pascual led them to the playoffs. They were the 4th seed, and it was very unfortunate that 2 years in a row they had to face the future EuroLeague champions. Like from the 5th seed, first of all, it was Fenerbahce with Željko, and then it was Real Madrid with Luka Doncic. So what can you do? You lead your team to a home court advantage, and then you face probably the worst opponent you can get in a series. So Xavi was doing a pretty good job, but also he had players like Nick Kalaitis, he had Mike James, he had great EuroLeague veterans at that time. And right now, Panathinaikos, they don't have any identity, honestly.
No.
The addition of Dwayne Bacon during the season just proves that they don't know which way they're going at the moment. And
just picking the best available player is there and hope for the best,
Exactly.
So.
What is interesting, I mean, you could have expect Panathinaikos making this signing, Pablo Laso, because they're known for making these interesting moves. They brought Xavi Pascal, which was kind of unexpected for a Spanish coach to go to the Greece team. If you remember, Xavi Pascal had huge problems talking English, so he had to learn a lot with personal teachers. Then they brought Rick Pitino, so they're thinking out of the box regarding coaching hirings. But at the same time, I don't know if you read what Dimitris Giannakopoulos said in their most recent interview. He mentioned that he still fully believes in Radonjic because he thinks that the coach who won the ABA League, who dominated in Serbia and who was doing a good job in Red Star, he doesn't believe that in 1 month and a half he suddenly became a bad coach. And he actually raised the question that, okay, Laso is obviously a huge coach, but he wasn't ever tested by a team which had a lower budget than like 30 or 40 million euros. So he's not sure about Laso's quality to coach the lower budget team. And he actually mentioned that for me, he's not the best choice for Panathinaikos. For me, Radonjic is the best choice. So I think it's huge for Radonjic to have that kind of support.
But it's Giannakopoulos, so should you take his words seriously?
No, I wouldn't be so confident.
I don't
because
take his
in
words
3 weeks
seriously.
he might be talking.
In 1 week or 2 days, he might be saying different stuff or acting different than from what he's saying. If I'm Pablo Laso, my demands would be a 3.5-year contract with solid money. So at least in case of being sacked, I would get a financial compensation.
Yeah, like 1 million euro or something.
There's no way I'm signing a 1.5-year deal with Panathinaikos if I'm Pablo Laso.
Yeah.
Sacked in the morning.
Or in the evening, with Giannakopoulos, you can get sacked during dinner time, probably.
Probably during the game.
In the middle, yeah, during the halftime.
Like signing Bacon in the middle of second quarter.
Yeah. And
what about this Kyrie Irving thing?
Impossible. Nobody has that kind of money.
But if he's going to play there not for money, let's say, maybe he's signing some big deal, shoes deal, I don't know, some sponsorship deal.